Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we are dropping into a map typically laden with 16 commanders. Instead, this time going to be full of 10, as we've got a 5 versus 5 on a gigantic map that of course goes by the title of Flats and Forest. It's a map that even with 8 players on your team, most commanders struggle to keep their front lines intact and prevent leaks on, with even more space per commander. I expect that this is going to be a fabulous little battle here. So today, without further ado, we'll meet our teams as we get underway in this wonderful little match that was sent on over on the Discord channel, by the way, in case you'd like to send your matches in for replays. There's a specific channel for it. The link is always down below in the description, and I always welcome new members of the Brightworks to subscribe, first and foremost, and then go ahead and drop your replay submission over at the Discord, of course. Spawning here is our blue team leader. It's none other than Cat the Vat of the APM clan, clocking in here at 28.52 open skill, going to be showing us some good old-fashioned Cortex gaming, going for a vehicle lab. And that makes a lot of sense, right? This vehicle is very useful on big, flat, open terrains. Makes a lot of sense to go for those vehicles, especially early on here. Transitioning into bots later on for maybe like Fiends, or I guess you could go for like Sheldon, something like that. Things with really, really large range. Makes a lot of sense later on. But in the early game, it really is difficult to beat the speed and firepower of the good old-fashioned, the infamous Incisor. Yeah. Now spawning all the way on the, whoops, pardon me, spawning, there's the button, on the other side here as the red team leader, also spawning as a core commander, also going into vehicle labs, also building solar panels, essentially mirroring the build here of Cat. It's gonna be Akumar 6, clocking in at a whopping 44.38 open skill. Means our red commander here is far and away the leader for this game, gonna be showing us the highest OS level gaming anyways. Very curious to see how much of a difference it will make. Typically when you see one of these games, it's very, very easy to say, well, that's horribly imba. But I think, given the fact that, 1, this is a 5v5, B, there is multiple levels of experience here, ranging from 2 OS all the way up to 44, and C, of course, and number 3 being that, you know, this map is heavily dependent on individual players, because those run-bys, those early run-bys can have huge value. The red commander just being shut down in the early game can be enough to effectively nullify that OS advantage, right? It's little things like that that add up, or don't add up over time. So I'd say this probably still looks like a pretty fair match. As far as the effective layout goes here, it's also interesting because typically this match is a 8v8, so it means that there's a little bit of variability in the spawns right here. I'll go ahead and disable the enable the spectator view, and we can go ahead and have a look. So as you can see, the red team already with a couple of rascals across the field here trying to snipe some of those metal extractors, those early constructors and whatnot. Most of them being defended. There is a couple sneaking around on the left-hand side. Ooh, LLT just moments from completion. I think in 3 seconds it'll come up, and this constructor and the associated metal extractor will be safe. However, Solar TV now suffering greatly. Yeah, those rascals sneaking into the backline, and man, what an appropriately named unit right there. A little bit of mismicro, accidentally Q's it on the other side, so the commander can hit it, but still, shutting down these solar panels, super annoying for the green commander, means energy production drops, means unit production drops. All of a sudden, the constructor is in trouble. Oh no. Things are rapidly slipping out of control right here. The blue team trying to get some value too, though. We do have indeed some grunts moving across. Manages, wow, to snipe 2 res bots. That's actually a huge pickoff right there for the Cyan hero. We also have another grunt moving across over in this direction. Loads of rascals being produced, none being sent across the field. Purple commander also looking to get a little bit of value with some of those grunts, but still, we are harassing the backline. At this point, Solar TV, I'm hoping you just build a LLT back here. If you're getting poked in the same side, at the same angle, at the same frequency over and over and over again, it's probably worth fortifying, right? Just shutting down that lane of attack. The cost of building those static defenses is going to be nullified by the cost that it saves you, right? The amount of metal that you're saved on having to rebuild all these units and whatnot. Yeah, we want that constructor badly, but I don't think we're going to get it. LLT coming up here as well. The green constructor, ooh, trying to build it. 8 seconds left on that one, and Sizers from the blue commander will come down to try and help out. Love that reaction from the blue team. Playing a little bit more dynamically here, sharing their resources, using their troops effectively to shut all this down, and now this green constructor is safe, and we can start to expand once more. Man, so pesky here with the control, though. I love it. Akumar showing us what that 20-ish OS, that, well, you know, less than 20, the 10, 15 OS difference really looks like here, as we watch a whole bunch of these rascals sneaking past into the backline to start harassing things. Now, we do have LOTs set up. We are not naked expanding, which is great because it means that these little rascals are going to be pestered away here, yeah, basically all destroyed by the incisors or LLTs alike. And I think that will basically be the end of the early game harassment here for the Red Commander. And indeed, I think Ekimar agrees. We're going into incisors at this point. We're making that army a little bit bigger, but this has been a zero harassment kind of start. I'm cooked, says Kat, as a whole bunch of blitzes move forward. I mean, the Deegan of the lifetime, boom goes the Deegan, carving away at that composition right there. It's a whole bunch of blitzes going down. Probably about 5 of them go down right there from a single Deegan shot, enough to ward them off. Okay. Exactly the kind of engagement that the blue commander was hoping for right there, not losing anything, save for, I suppose, 500 energy to blow up hundreds of metal worth of tanks, a trade that basically any commander is going to be more than happy to use. Grunt's here to defend against the ginormous swarm of rascals. My goodness, okay. This is the other strategy, right? Just swarming in, mass production. The Grunts are so good, though. I mean, the Rascals may as well be a tier 0 unit if the Grunts are a tier 1. They managed to clean that up relatively efficiently. I mean, all said and done, actually, the overall cost here was 1 solar panel. And I think they got, like, a mechs as well, somewhere along the lines. Yeah, took out some infrastructure and whatnot, but really not a bad trade at all. Grunt's now swarming in this angle as well. We're going to have 2 versus 1 on this middle side here. Some of the orange troops do pull back and the yellow move in to engage. Grunts in sufficient numbers can equally fight incisors. However, incisors taking a wonderful trade right there. Look at the shape of that engagement. Basically a perfect concave for the yellow commander going up against a straight 1v10 essentially situation right here, because these have flanking bonuses as well, bringing their damage up by about 90%. Means that this area is going to be contested a little bit harder than I think the purple commander creature was expecting. There we go. More run-bys all over the place. What was I talking about? The end of the run-by eras. We've only just begun here. I should have known. Of course, this map is feared across the board for being one of the most run-by-centric maps in the entire current game. It is essentially so wide open that it's impossible to seize up, or shore up, I should say, all of your positions on the field here. Man, pawns just chewing away at whatever they can. Love these ones in the back line, sniping those mexes. That's 6, 8 metal, 9, 10-ish metal. Closer to 10.5 metal going down per second for the Cyan commander. Means we need some counterattack damage. At this point, repairing just won't do. You need to go do some damage on the other side. We have the Grunts cleaning up the rest of the pawns that came across here. Commander likewise will clean up this one that did some damage to these solar panels. Now everybody's focused on defending over here. A couple of mexes go down, overwhelming the LLT right here that Stellis had set up, and so indeed these Grunts will make it through. Huge LLT wall accompanied by incisors is going to be more than enough to shut this push down, at least for the tan commander. We do have a bunch of units moving on the southern side here, as well as the orange commander moves in to try and intercept. What a beautiful expansion here from the red commander, though. Expanding forward with the constructors, setting up LLTs and all that sort of stuff, growing the economy via solar panel in the backline here, just really greedily expanding with these T1 solar panels. If you have the metal, I mean, you may as well, right? They are effectively the world's most efficient battery. They store metal and produce energy at the same time. Incisors here. Strong enough to push past LLTs on their own, not necessarily strong enough to fight them one-to-one. You see this hero LLT taking down 2 of those incisors before the 3rd finally gets it. But it will finally get it. And now we are open on this side. Pounders coming out here. That's a very useful tool. 1 or 2 pounders in the right lane, the right opportunity path. Struggling with that word that I came up with, or that phrase. Couple of pounders in the right opportunity path, and you can effectively shut down anything of the T1 era. The incisors looking for another opportunity. Instead, going to just go ahead and retreat backwards here. Maybe could have pulled back to try and get a little bit more value, but there's LLTs everywhere, so really these were always going to have a rough time. Metal extractor down in the main base here for the green commander. Busy building on the front line. We're going to build a backwards bot lab on the front here using our 18,050 metal. 1,850 metal here to, I guess, build some T1 bots. I mean, I don't mind that on the front line. I'd like it if it was facing the other way, but that's a minor detail, really, in the end of the story. There we go. Commander does jump on top of this, and we will start to spend the metal. One of those things about playing this map with 5 commanders is, of course, also that you have 3 commanders worth of economy going into each team's bank, or into sometimes multiple players, like a single player's bank. Multiple players worth of economy, I should clarify, going into a single player's bank. It means that all those timing attacks that we, or timings for economy that we really hold near and dear to our hearts kind of go out the window. Suddenly you have 30, 40, 50 metal per second coming in your T1 era. You can start to spam out an unbelievable amount of T1 tanks, or of course, go for that T2 on a really aggressive timing on the front line here. In this case, for the pink commander, we are desperately E-stalled. In fact, it seems like E-stalls across the board right here, as everybody is looking for that. We do also have a T2 laboratory up and running right now for the blue team, so that's quite nice. Our little strategic construction icon on the bottom doesn't seem to be working properly. I've been testing this out, and it seemed like it was working earlier. May not be working at the moment. We'll check it out later. It's a request that I've had for ages and ages and ages to show important buildings on this bottom side. It might not show for T2 labs. It might just show for T3 labs. But either way, T2 is up and running. We are still spamming out a ridiculous number of T1. Can we please swap to T2 at this point? Fiends are so much better. Ugh. Oh, man. Okay, just for, like, perspective here. That's 2,100 metal worth of thugs that have just come out of this laboratory here. If that was Fiends, A, they could have been up here to maybe help out the Green Commander, and B, well, they would have done a lot more damage per metal cost. Typically, the faster unit wins on this map, and I don't think anything highlights that better than the complete destruction here of the Green Commander via a couple of yellow incisor that have managed to just simply outrun all the defenses and defenders in order to blow apart literally everything in the backline here. We have one incisor still chipping away right here, but Solar TV is not even paying attention. I mean, where are we playing here? Looks like that frontline laboratory went down here as well. Yeah, all the hopes and dreams of the Green Commander have been crushed. Mass Lasher is kind of an interesting choice. Again, going for the slowest unit possible on the fastest map possible. Resbot's picking up incisors, picking up LLTs, picking up whatever they can, trying to keep all this together. But again, incisors are so good. I really do feel like they hit way above their weight class. For their size and their cost in T1, they are very, very efficient. Putting the Blitz to shame. Couple of the... I mean, the Lashers are like the... I think I said this the very last cast. We're effectively seeing our enemy play rock, and we are playing scissors. That's what it feels like watching right now, as we do have the Lashers contesting the incisor. Kind of just a hard counter being... a hard countered unit being created to counter its hard counterer. Outsmarting here, outsmarting. Sort of a moment right here. Eventually, I think this does get cleaned up, and eventually these wreckages will be very valuable to reclaim, but there's just so much attention away from the Green Commander's front line. It's bought so much time here for the Red Commander to go ahead up into T2, and in fact, we're now going for SAR spam. Okay. Akamar using that T2 metal very, very well, using it to go ahead and go all the way up to Czar's, the most expensive tank out of that T2 laboratory. Well, the Tremor might be more expensive, but the most expensive effective tank out of that laboratory. The Czar, the king of tanks. The Godzilla of tanks, if you will. Firing away those ridiculous high-impact projectiles at a crazy rate. And devastating literally everything in its effective range. LLT is not going to stand a chance. Metal extractors, of course, but also any of these T1 units that are just going to be blown apart, too. Constructors sent over here to actually reclaim some of this. I mean, these are missile trucks. They're not going to clean this up very fast. Oh, tell me we reclaim a little bit of this metal. That's just wonderful. Look at that. 39 metal per second means after 3 seconds or so, this guy's reclaimed all the metal needed to afford itself. I think we probably did just about pay for this with the actual unit itself there. Oh, Tiger tanks with their sexy new remodel as well. Look at that. They got little antennas, too. Oh, so cute. Very, very cute. I love that. Little bit of a push over here. The HLT kind of warding off these medium tanks from pushing any further. They're just trying to snipe that T2 Constructor, and I think probably sacrificing them to kill that T2 Constructor would be worth it. Right now, the T2 lead here is on the red team's side. Obviously, these Czar are going to be super useful. Love the spam right here, actually, of the Rascals. It's perfect. We've turned these on hold fire so they don't accidentally shoot themselves in the feet. Nice move right there from the Red Commander. Nice bit of micro. We're just spamming Czars. Wow. Nice micro right there by the Green Commander, sniping the radar and the radar jammer. Excellent control, though, from the Red Commander, just saying, you know what, it's not worth accidentally shooting myself in the foot. Now we have Tigers leaking through, though. Talk about T2, the Tiger tanks have managed to slip on by. We also have a Commander death on the southern side. Orange Commander goes down. Red base in shambles, though, as it looks like those T2 and T1 tanks are going to sneak on by. Build power not in position to repair or reclaim, and it does mean this T2 lab on the very forward front does go down. Well, okay. This suddenly becomes a huge issue, right? I mean, oh, we have landmines, actually. Not bad. They're light mines, so they're not going to do much against the medium, or against the heavy tanks, but against the medium tanks, they chip away at that armor pretty good. Softening up this army a little bit here, making it ever so slightly to attack. Red Commander forced into a situation. Ah, okay, it's going to be Shuriken here. Nice response, I would say. Yeah, the Shuriken are super nice. They buy you a bunch of time, obviously. You can just clean all this up at your leisure once this is all paralyzed. Of course, you have to eventually get something back here, or else these are going to become unparalyzed, and or they're going to send some fighters across to try and deal with you. Banishers work quite well here as well, sort of an anti-air option in some kind of ways. Sheldon's coming out now for the Seafoam Green Commander. Going up against medium and heavy tanks, though, is not ideal. Thunderjunk 77. Little bit of trouble here. The Orange Commander's death has also triggered a vengeance, as now the pawns sweep forward into the lines of the green, or cyan, rather, commander. Just like that, those pounders are getting their money's worth. That's the cyan commander, by the way, going down right there. Oh, Resbot's out in the open. Will get punked here by the stouts rolling in, firing away those plasma projectiles. Laboratory's going to fall here as well. Build power collapsing. And the medium tanks have done it. Okay. Medium tanks for the win. They're sturdy. They hit like tanks. They're also relatively fast. I mean, compared to other things, compared to, for instance, maces or thugs, very, very quick. Difficult to stop from rolling forward. You need those super high impulse options in order to deal with them, really. What a lovely response right here by the Red Commander, by the way. Can I just say, I mean, what an elegant situation, right? You just use the Shuriken to stop the push, and then go ahead and build a laboratory just to push out some tanks to go stop all this after the fact. Kind of love that. Juno actually being set up here. We have the heavy tanks firing away in a line. LLTs to clear out any of the chaff underneath all this, and then, of course, the Zars to fire off into the distance and try and knock out any of these units here. Actually manually target firing with the Zars to make sure they don't kill themselves. Another commander goes down. My goodness. Purple Com falls here as the Tiger tanks. Those heavy T2 tanks, I feel like we're seeing Tigers everywhere. It's literally core on core on core. I mean, we have some stouts here from the Orange Commander, but everybody else is Cortex. Zar's just so dangerous, right? I mean, these are effectively impossible to push into. Hey, there we go. We do have that strategic construction coming up and online here. We have the fusion reactor coming up and online for the Purple Commander, the Seafoam Green Commander. Yellow Commander just starting theirs up, and it looks like Tank Commander about 10% of the way through with theirs. Very, very cool. Love that. Ah, isn't that just beautiful? Shows you all the different buildings down there. Very excited to see this develop. Huge, I mean, gigantic shout out goes out to H7, the wonderful gentleman who's put this together. I mean, absolutely one of the best mods that I've seen in a little while. Best Lua UI widgets that I've seen in a little while. It'll be out for public usage very shortly. I'm certain of it. For us, though, it means we get to know exactly when those fusion reactors start up and who starts them and when they're pretty much all ready. Tank sneaks into the background here. Does actually get a lovely scout off. That's wonderful. It scouts off that fusion reactor that we just saw come up and running. Ooh, E-converters? Ah, no hit on the E-converters. Oh, yikes. Friendly fire from the missile. Oh, we didn't learn our lesson. Oh, no. No anti-air whatsoever included here. AA plus, cries the Blue Commander. Yeah, I mean, it's a great request, honestly. That's a fabulous idea. These guys taking some serious hits. Shuriken, though, having a feast. Oof. That is rough. Just a couple of T2 flat can really shuttle this down. There we go. The fighters are inbound. Finally sweeping away the Shuriken. Okay. Nicely done. Still, though, those medium tanks cleaned up most of this, and that's going to be a hugely positive metal trade.
Commander destroyed.
Yellow Commander goes down. Ultimately, though, those tanks are really the big catch here. Managing to clear all those medium tanks, or those heavy tanks up, rather, with the medium tanks is very metal efficient. I mean, especially considering none of the medium tanks died, right? They all just went back. Cyan in a lot of trouble here. We do have the T2 up and running. We have the Mauser, or not Mauser, rather, the Quaker firing away. Radar jammer here, preventing any sort of discovery, so these Zars are exposed. The Quaker are not, means they can get within range of the Zar. Yeah, forced into a retreat, though. Need to move our scout units back. They will follow on a long leash. I wish you could adjust the length of these guard commands. I want my radars and radar jammers to stick to my Quakers like glue. Those Quakers hit pretty hard. Oh, jammer gets damaged. That shuts it off. Should shut it off anyway. I still see the red circle, but I think that's a visual bug. Now we have the E-converter starting up. Doomsday, what is that? Oh, it's the name for a bulwark. So all the names are different. One of the weird things about Bar is that all the names in the code are completely different from what they're actually named in game. So the advanced E-converter is called the Moho Maker. The I guess the bulwark is called the Doomsday. We'll get used to it eventually, or it'll get changed eventually. I'm sure there's a way to change that, but for the time being, it's still a very, very effective and very awesome proof of concept. Oh, nice decans right there from Heifer. That is one of 2 remaining commanders for the blue team, though. That suddenly puts them in a really sketchy position. All of a sudden, the blue team down to literally 1 commander remaining. The red team only with 3, but that's still quite a bit better than 1. 3 times better, I would say. Medium tanks. I can't believe how much value they're finding here. I mean, really. Every single one of these pushes, I feel like, has been medium tanks, making their way through to the enemy bases and being shut down. You really need super specific tools in order to deal with these. Mammoths are one of the really effective ones, but obviously super expensive, and on a map like this, they're so slow to get anywhere on the field. They just don't cover enough surface area to really always be worth it. Sumos might be the next best option, but again, they suffer from that slowness that mammoths also suffer from. Yeah, the anti-air is so lacking. Shuriken just having a wonderful time tearing all this apart. 2 flak trucks probably would have shuttled these Shuriken down. I mean, really effectively shuttled these Shuriken down. Fighters are pulled to deal with all this. Keep these Shurikens safe so that more and more of these medium tanks can push on through. Do we have Resbots or anything eating all this up? I sure hope so. Purple actually does. Purple has Resbots resurrecting right now, but going to be reclaiming eventually. Where is the blue team's last commander? The question on everybody's mind. Looking for it, looking for it. There it is. Solar TV hiding in the background right there. That's the green commander. Last one remaining right here. Suddenly in a little bit of trouble is, yeah, those T2 tanks push right on through into the backline now of the blue commander. We've got the solar panels. We need to eat those up. Once you're building your fusion reactors and you're stalled on metal, these T1 solar panels should be the very first thing you reach for. Obviously, it takes a little bit of build power to eat those up, but not the end of the world. Tremendous metal advantage for the red team because of this reclaim. It's going to flip pretty quickly here to the blue team as they suddenly deny a bunch of that reclaim, and now all that metal advantage from the T2 metal extractors goes back to them. The red team with a huge positional advantage, tons of map coverage. The blue team with loads of eco investment. We've got the fusion reactors, the advanced solar panels, the Moho Maker E-converters coming up and online. Hey, there we go. A flak truck has been built. Ladies and gentlemen, the hero of the day. Serving it up the flaky way. Medium tanks brawling it out here against the Tigers. So on a metal-to-metal basis, the Tigers are technically much more efficient than the medium tanks. The fact of the matter is, though, that the Tiger doesn't actually do very much more damage than a medium tank per projectile. It means the medium tanks are still super difficult to kill, and heavy tanks, I mean, obviously quite difficult as well. You really rely on having superior numbers and superior HP bar. One of the reasons why those Shuriken were so effective is because they can make that HP bar and the damage output effectively null and void. Tanks now jumping on top of a Tsar that was built on the southern side here by the yellow commander. Love the aggression right now, but we need to see the reclaim, right? If this isn't followed up by a bunch of Resbots to reclaim all this wreckage and feed it back to the war machine, it's effectively dead metal. Was the commander resurrected over here? You know, I don't see... Oh, yep, sure was. Creature. Okay. Blue team, off of death's door. They managed to pull back from the brink of destruction by resurrecting one of these commanders. And at this point, I feel like putting it away. We know that there's air out on the field. Putting it away. In fact, we are going for some bombers. Yep. Look at that. We got the bombers coming up right here for the red commander. Looking to go for something a little bit cheeky. Trying to send those bombers in behind an air screen right here. The anti-air has been built, so it might be difficult to find the opening exactly. But the green commander has been on the back foot this entire game. Forced to deal with so many different run-bys in so many different directions, and now the red commander is on the doorstep again with more and more of these red tanks. We've got more fusion plants coming up right here. Moho Makers as well. That eco is continuing to scale. For each of our commanders here today, T2 Constructor goes down. Tiger tanks, I mean, again, trying their very best. Really what you need in this sort of a situation where your enemy just refuses to upgrade from the medium tanks, you need one Banisher and then a bunch of Tiger tanks, and then another Banisher and then a bunch of Tiger tanks. And you very, very slowly keep your Banishers alive and scale the number upwards, and eventually you end up in a situation where you have enough Banishers to effectively shuttle this down without ever taking any damage. And that's the moment where your opponent is forced into a situation where they have to upgrade their units to T2, but after already donating several 100,000 metal worth of medium tanks, it's quite difficult for them to do. Not the case here, though, for the Green Commander, who's just gone into more and more Tiger tanks, taken the efficient trade, but against a, well, numerically far superior enemy. And it means that even though we do clean these up, they still end up doing huge amounts of damage in the pass every single time. And without really any way to reclaim all this, all that advantage is nullified, right? The one major comeback mechanic to a situation like this is the fact that you can reclaim all this. Blue Commander in shambles here as well, as the Bulls, layer by layer, push by push, managed to crack these defenses. Oh, yeah, Flak come over. Flak trucks trying to save the Blue Commander. Bombers moving out of the way. They come across the blue base. Bombs away. Huge strafing run right across the entirety of the blue base. Oh, that's beautiful. Advanced solar panels falling left, right, and center. The Bomber's going to double back and try and go for another one, it looks like. I'm not thinking about it. No, actually, they're going to strategic retreat. Okay. Smelled those flak trucks, and more importantly, felt those flak trucks from miles away. Decided it was better to pull those bombers back so they could be bombed, or they could bomb, rather, another day. A huge, huge hit to the blue team. Then again, it is only advanced solar panels, right? I mean, we have the fusion reactor. Ooh, we got an advanced fusion reactor coming up and running here, too, for the purple commander. See, oh, I love that. I can just know when cool things are happening around the map. I think, you know, spoiler alert, but I think it also will show some of the cool T3 units as well. Nuclear missile launchers and whatnot. Gone are the days of missing epic nuclear missile launches. In theory, anyway. Yeah, Bomber's going to take out a whole load of constructors over here on the front. Kind of, I mean, I don't think this is the value we really wanted to save these Bombers for, but it's not the end of the world. What on earth? Oh my goodness. We've got commando drops, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe another one of those units that would be awesome to see on the bottom here. Commando drops in the backline of the orange base. We've got the E-converters popping. We've got the build power collapsing. Their little laser blaster does a decent amount of damage. It's not to be underappreciated. Obviously, their signature move here is putting a landmine in the enemy base. Jungle Lad is a little exposed. I mean, there's opportunity here for sure. Can these repair? Oh, they sure can. Hey, these are full repairs. They could just repair themselves up to full HP, too. That's kind of cool. Apparently, they can also reclaim. That's neat. Oh, imagine dropping these in the backline, blowing up a base, and then reclaiming it all. That would be so epic. Oh, man. Send me the replay of that if you pull it off. I believe they generate a little energy, too, which means they can heal themselves very slightly. Love the commando drops over here. Super, super cute. Man, the red team falling behind. Not making as serious of an eco investment in the early T2 stage, and now it's kind of coming back to bite them. They're struggling to catch up in that department, but we've got so much wasted metal and T1 solar panels all over the place. I mean, my goodness. Just really quickly, just indulge me for a second. 12,900 metal of T1 solar panels, just for reference right there. One heavy landmine in the gap right there. I'm pretty sure you can do it. Yeah, you could totally do. Oh, it's a medium mine. One medium mine in the gap right there. I mean, I guess you could put them anywhere. It looks like you can kind of just put them under any building, but yeah. I'm just saying, would be pretty cool if you ask me. The southern side has been super weak the entire game, though. We've seen more and more run-bys on the Orange Commander, and so many forces had to be dedicated in this area that now that they've sort of pulled out from this section, there's not really a lot more going on. We do have the Intimidator coming up right here, otherwise known as the Basilisk Long-Range Plasma Cannon. That's a way better name. Why didn't we go with that one? Anyway, legal distinction would be my guess. Yeah, commandos, I mean, still walking around right here. We just need a little bit more micro on them is the one thing. Like, these could have probably killed a couple more of these buildings over here. I mean, maybe popped some of the E-converters or the fusion reactors or whatever. But obviously, it's a trade-off, right? Like, if you go for that, then you suddenly don't have as much time to deal with everything. Tsar is colliding with a giant mass of resbots, but here come the heavy bombers. Bombs away? Oh, no bombs away here. Okay. I would have liked to see one round of bombs just dropped on all this, just to try and soften it up, or at the very least scare some of this. Force out some anti-air. Instead, we're just going for the throat here. Boom. Fusion reactor pops right there. Are we going to double back for the other two? I think we may as well. They're in a beautiful little line right now. Yep. I'm going after the heavy E-converter, or E-storages. Wow. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, virtually nothing remains here of the Tan Commander's base. Can we move towards the Orange Commander next? We do have those flak trucks coming out. Oh, actually doing a great job of shooting these down. Still, bombs do connect with those advanced solar panels. That's quite nice. Wind turbine's the only other energy source here for the Orange Commander. Means we are going to actually fall into a little bit of an E-stall. Bombers are getting shot down, as well as the fighters. But it's a slow process. No matter what you use, it's a slow process. Save for those long-range missile launchers, maybe the only thing that can deal with this super quickly and from far enough range that they won't ever get under your base. Oh, very close call. Fusion reactors barely staying up and running right there for the Yellow Commander, but they will stay up and running, and that's what matters. Commando's still in the back line here, by the way. Hero Commander over here has lost all micro from the Cyan Commander. This one over here is still being messed with, though. Yeah, we're going to start setting up landmines. I mean, why not? Why not just build a bunch of landmines, right? You can also build scouting planes and send those around. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Little air scout in the back line. Not bad. Definitely not bad. Advanced fusion reactors coming up across the board right here for everybody on the blue team. Everyone's scaling that eco very, very nicely. Cool to see. Not losing that focus, right? I mean, we're losing focus of our units in the back line, but that's kind of understandable. They are difficult to keep track of at all times. While we were glazing the commandos in the back line, though, the blue commander has completely lost their base. Fusion plant starts up, or rather is almost finished up here for the red commander. Tiger tanks moving across here in composition with the bulls. We have tigers for the defense, but this is obviously a very heavy-hitting army. We'll check back in just a second here. Wow. Yeah, if we're just going to clump up all our units against the Tsars, I mean, that is essentially the perfect field day for them. The pink forces have hit the defenses. Yep. Bulls, as expected, tearing through all of the heavily armored structures, the advanced metal extractors alike. We stalled as long as we could.
Commander has died.
Not bad. Not sure where that commander died at. It was a blue commander, though, as they're down to just one commander left here. I think it was on the front line. Somewhere. Yeah, somewhere. Let's watch in great glorious detail as these pink tanks now swarm over the green base. The red commander actually in range here. I wonder if we might go for a D gun. You know what? Maybe the reclaim is more valuable, so we're not going to. Yeah, no reason to. Let's go ahead and reclaim all that. Juicy. Record speed, that base goes out of fashion here. Bombers do connect, though, with the build power, with the fusion reactors. Yellow base suddenly in shambles. Loads of bombers had to die in order to make it happen, but they did make it happen. Coming back around for another bombing pass here. Going to connect with some of those anti-airs. Tigers pulled back to the very last line to try and defend once more. So much metal for the reclaim, though. And imagine if we get some constructors out here to rebuild all this as well. Man, this guy. What a hero in the backline this guy is. 55 confirmed kills to this commando's name. I mean, can we just start spamming a bunch of medium mines all over the place? So definitely speed things up quite nicely. This guy has also been sitting over here for quite a while. There's moves to be made. Demons coming out of the T3 gantry now for our Cyan hero. We do actually have some orange anti-air options coming out now. The Lashers and, of course, the humblest of Shredder anti-air flak turret. The mighty Tick. Popping a bunch of E-converters and shutting off a bunch of T1 solar panels at this point, though. Wasp gunship's actually out in the air. Going to be a very decent option going up against a bunch of these heavy tanks. Not much the heavy tanks can do against the Wasps, so they fire away their volleys of light missiles. Medium missiles, maybe. Making, I wouldn't say quick work of the tanks, but efficient work, certainly. Tanks continuing to pop everything that they can. The whole base, if they'll be allowed to do it. Tiger setting a little bit of a screen, and the Wasps in the air, one by one, picking off these tanks right now. Fighters in the air, of course, to try and keep all this safe, and we do have, again, this commando in the backline. What are we up to at this point? 92 confirmed kills on this bad boy. Look at the sound of that, too. I really want, like, the face. There he is. Look at that. Look at that beautiful boy. I love it. I really love it. We've got a couple ticks hiding in the back line over on the bottom right-hand corner. Got some more coming in as well on this side, and we do have a couple of bombers making their way across. Okay. Anti-air on the demons is not the best, but not the worst.
Commander,
Oh!
self-destruct.
Oh! Self-destruct. Self-destruct. The blue team had plays. The backline was infested with commandos all over the place. The blue team had the plays, but it was a GG situation. Wow. Okay. Well, albeit, ladies and gentlemen, after taking over the entire map, losing the entire map, taking it over once more, the red team manages to come out on top despite a lack of eco, at least energy-based anyway, eco scaling. They managed to still pull through with some excellent defense, holding the key positions, and wonderful teamwork. Well, albeit, I wasn't expecting that. I thought the blue commanders were just about to start their final push, but I guess not the case. The Czars also were making their way in, and that's definitely a compelling argument for a GG situation. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and I sure hope you enjoyed this match beyond all reason. Of course, feel free to join the Brightworks community by subscribing, and if you did enjoy this video, feel free to drop it a like, spread it across the etherverse and into the interwebs, and I'll be very, very chuffed with all that love and support. I always love and support all of each of every one of you, and I hope you have a fantabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.